time. Madam, you can start the class now.
Okay, sir. Good morning, friends. I am Priyanka. I am here to teach you about soil fertility and fertilizer use. Today, I am going to discuss about history, discovery, classification of essential nutrients, criteria of essentiality, mobility of nutrients, role of nutrients, hidden hunger, and the mechanism of nutrient transport. First, you must know what is soil fertility and productivity and mineral nutrition. These are the main terms everyone should know. The difference between soil fertility and productivity, we always think they both are same, but they are not at all same. Soil fertility, all fertile soils may not be productive, and productive soils are always fertile. First, soil fertility, it is the inherent capacity of the soil to supply nutrients to the plants in adequate amount and in suitable proportions. Example, if acidic soils are alkali soils, sometimes acidic soils have all the nutrients in it, but they may not be able to produce higher yield. This is due to the external factor. So soil productivity consider all the terms like management, external factors. So acidic soils comes under soil productivity, and the soil productive to acidic soils is less. And mineral nutrition, it has a three-tier system like absorption, translocation, and assimilation of nutrients by the plants. First, if any nutrients are present in the soil, they has to be absorbed by the roots. If it is not absorbed, the present of nutrients in the soil is also waste. So it has to be absorbed. Then it has to be translocated to the site of the action. Then it has to be assimilated. Assimilation means making similar. Like if nitrogen is absorbed, it will translocate to the site of action. Then it has to be converted to the ammonium and then to ammonic acid for the formation of protein. So assimilation means it is making similar. So mineral nutrition, these three are like absorption, translocation, assimilation of nutrients to be considered. Next, history of soil fertility and fertilizer use. Before 19th century, there was very limited principles like scientific evidences, so the progress is very less. In 19th century, like Theodore de Souza and Jean Baptiste, they came and they started making improvement in those histories. Like some says mineral nutrients are observed from the soil, and some says carbon dioxide is observed from air and soil. Like that, now we are going to discuss who said and what. Theodore de Souza in 1804 and Jean Baptiste in 1834, they had explained the need of mineral elements for the growth and development of the plant. So they said about mineral elements for growth and development. So then Van Liebeck said that these elements, mineral elements, are obtained from the soil. So please note it down. Justin Van Liebeck was a German chemist. In 1840 he was there, and then he explained that carbon is observed from carbon dioxide in the air, not from the soil. And he also discovered law of minimum. This is known as father of agriculture chemistry. Okay, this is law of minimum. He has explained this law of minimum by using metaphorical barrel. These all are the steps. Okay, 1 minute. These all steps represent each different element. They all are present in higher amount, and but but due to the small stave, that is potassium, the what liquid is contained in the barrel is spilling out due to the small amount. So if we get law of minimum, if one of the essential plant nutrients is deficient, plant growth will be poor if all other essential nutrients are abundant. In this, all the steps are present to a higher, but only potassium is less. Due to this less potassium, the water is coming out. In the same way, the yield of the plant will decreases due to the less deficient element. Same we can consider like if you are making one सब्जी में सब कुछ डाला है जैसे मसाले चिल्ली पाउडर लेकिन आप सॉल्ट नहीं डाले दिस सॉल्ट इज लाइक दिस डिफिशिएंट एलिमेंट ओके अगर आप सब कुछ डाल के भी सॉल्ट नहीं डालने से वो सब्जी क्या होता है टेस्टलेस बन जाते हैं जैसे सिर्फ सॉल्ट पे आप डिफिशिएंट नहीं बना सकते लेकिन यू कैन कंसिडर लाइक चिल्ली पाउडर यू आर एडिंग एवरीथिंग यू डिडंट ऐड प्रॉपर चिल्ली पाउडर देन इधर सब्जी में बिकम टेस्टलेस So even one element is present in less quantity, the yield may become poor due to the less one deficient element. And it was developed in agriculture science by Carl Sprenger in 1840. Then decrescently, he is known as father of agronomy. Francis Bacon said that principal nourishment to plant was water. Plant get nourished due to this water. And then Helmento said that water was the sole nutrients of the plant. मतलब पानी में ही सब कुछ है. ये किसने दिया? ये वन हेलमेंटो है. उसके बाद ग्लोबर said that salt filter but not water was the principle of vegetation. And then Woodward, earth but not water. Earth means muddy water. या mud may consider as principal nourishment by according to John Woodward. Then Jitrodal, he is he's the author of Horse Hoeing Husbandry. What he said is, Jitrodal we all know as for he's also said about the tillage, right? He, because the finally divided soil particles were responsible for plant growth. It was said by Jitrodal. And then Authoring has made experiments on barley by giving many organic nutrients to the plant barley, and then he explained about these results, about these findings in his publication, that is Annals of Agriculture. So the publication of authoring is his Annals of Agriculture, and the experiment he done on barley. Next, Sir Humphrey Davy, and he also explained about elements of agriculture chemistry. He said that major portion of the carbon uptake by plants was through roots. And then Baptist Bosangal said that, okay, he is known as father of field plot experimentation. He has maintained a balance sheet of how various nutrients elements are coming from different sources like rain, soil, and air. After that, Laws and Gilbert, they have created a scientific world, like by saying that plants need phosphorus and potassium, and they have established Rothenstein experimentation station. Next discoveries. First is Haas. He has discovered carbon, hydrogen, and iron. Then Theodore de Saussure, he has discovered oxygen. Just remember, saucer, oxygen, sauce, oxygen. Then nitrogen, Rutherford. P for Pasternak, PP. So Pasternak you can remember. And K, Schimper. AFZ, Schimper. Calcium, Sam, Hotspur. See, Sam ने क्या किया? Calcium tablets खाया. उसके बाद उसने hot और smart बन गया. So you can remember like this. Calcium, Sam, hot, smart. Then magnesium will starter. Magnesium matlab Maggie. You can say it as Maggie. MAGGIE, right? MG, magnesium. So magnesium will starter. मतलब मैगी खाने के बाद भी कुछ शुरुआत करेंगे. जैसे will go to, like that we can say, right? So magnesium, Maggie will starter. S for sun, right? Peterson. Sun. Peterson, sulfur. Mn, manganese. manganese मतलब मांगना मतलब आर्ग्यू करना है, राइट? MC आर्ग्यू, manganese आर्ग्यू. B बोरॉन. अरे बोर हो गए तो अपन क्या करेंगे, थोड़ा रिंगटोन सुन लेंगे, जैसे वारिंगटन, बोरॉन, वारिंगटन. देन जिंक, सोमर, लिपमैन. molybdenum, arnon and stout. Chlorine, TC Breuer et al. And nickel, this is the recently added element in 1987 by Brown, Witch and Carey. Next, criteria of essentiality. It was given by Annan and Stout in 1939. Then again, it is redefined by Arnon in 1952. They, okay, on Earth there are various elements, but not all elements are considered essential. So to become an element to be essential, they has to meet this criteria, these three. One is a element has to complete the vegetative reproductive stage of life cycle. If it is deficiency, then if the deficiency is there, then plant can't be able to complete the vegetative reproductive stage of life. Like example, nitrogen. Nitrogen is helpful for its vegetative parts, for vegetative growth and for completing the vegetative cycle. So nitrogen is considered as essential element. And second point is deficiency can be corrected only by supplying that element. Okay. If there is deficiency of nitrogen, we cannot correct the nitrogen deficiency by supplying phosphorus or potassium. So an element can be corrected, deficiency can be corrected only by supplying that element. And next third point is element is directly involved in the metabolism of the plant. Like nitrogen has to establish, it has to participate in protein synthesis. So nitrogen can be considered as essential. I'm taking only as an example of example nitrogen. There are actually 17 essential elements. So these elements has to meet these three criteria according to Arnold and Stout to be essential. But there are some elements like molybdenum. They cannot be they can be substituted by vanadium. So the molybdenum does not meet the second criteria. So that is deficiency can be corrected only by supplying that element. Even molybdenum can be corrected by vanadium. So the second points become invalid due to that due to molybdenum. According to criteria of essentiality, sodium is considered as non-essential. But some farmers say that sodium is very much important for increasing the yield of turnip, sugar beet, and celery. So according to farmers, sodium is essential. So some of the elements are essential according to different crops and according to different stages. So these may the second point is valid invalid, and according to farmers, sodium is essential. So we can say only criteria of essential is very much important for all the elements. It may differ with crop stages and different crops. Okay, before, according to Annan and Stout, there were only 16 elements as essential. After that, nickel is recently added one. That is added in 1987. So now total essential nutrients are 17. Next, classification of essential elements. Out of with these 17 essential elements are classified into different stages. One is based on amount of nutrients, how much amount of nutrients are required by the plant. They are classified into four types actually. One is basic, macro, micro, and ultra is also there. Basic nutrients like CHO. Most of the plant biomass is consists of CHO, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That is 96% of plant's biomass is of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Mostly carbon and oxygen contributes about 45% each, and they are non-minerals. Why? Because they are observed from the air and water. The elements which are observed from the soil are known as mineral elements. Those which are observed from air and water are known as non-minerals, and they are also known as basic nutrients because the plant dry mass is so much, means it's about 96%, and without them plant won't be able to synthesize carbohydrates, won't be able to carry out photosynthesis, so they form the basic nutrients. Next, macronutrients. There are 6 macronutrients. Why macro? Name itself says that macro. This plant required in larger quantity. How much larger quantity? 1000 microgram per gram of dry matter, or its requirement is more than 1 ppm. And this out of these nutrients, 6 elements, NPK are known as primary nutrients. Why? They are given primary importance, so they are known as primary nutrients. And secondary nutrients like calcium, magnesium, sulfur, they are the secondary nutrients, and they are provided along with the primary nutrients like ammonium sulfate can be given. So in combined form also we can be given that. And next, micronutrients. They are required in less quantity, that is less than 1 ppm. Micronutrients are also known as oligo, trace, or spawn elements. Please note it down. There, it is very important point. And there are about 8 micronutrients. They are iron, manganese, zinc, copper, molybdenum, boron, chlorine, and nickel. They require in very smaller quantity. And the gram of dry matter contains less than 100 microgram of these micronutrients, so they are known as micronutrients. Okay, one more is ultra micronutrients. It is also known as ultra micronutrients. It requires about less than the requirement of ultra micronutrient is less than 1 ppb, that is parts per billion. They are not in use nowadays. Next, functional element. The term functional elements proposed by Nicholas. What is function difference between functional and essential is functional elements directly participate in plant metabolism. Nicholas has proposed this functional or metabolic nutrients. It is also known as metabolic nutrients because it is participating in plant metabolism. There are about 21 functional nutrients. So 4 plus 17, that is 21. 4 we can say SOSI-CoA, that is sodium, silicon, cobalt, and vanadium, plus essential elements. That is 17 times 4 is called 21. 21 functional nutrients. Next, beneficial nutrients, also known as potential micronutrients. They are the plant nutrients that may not be essential but are beneficial to plants. Not all plants need sodium. Sodium is needed for sugar beet, whereas silicon, only rice can take silicon. Cobalt, only fodder grass can be only be added for fodder grasses. So all not all plants need these beneficial nutrients. It differ means it can promote plant growth under specific conditions. Not all plants are needed this micro beneficial nutrients. Next is mobility in the based on the mobility of the nutrients. As the nutrients are present in the soil, it has to get mobile. It means it has to get dissolved in the soil solution, and it has to reach to the soil, reach to the plant. These mobility in the soil of the nutrients help us to identify the availability of nutrients and the method of fertilizer application. If the nutrients are less mobile, it is getting attached to the soil particles. Then based on this, we can decide which method we have to use. Like अगर आप फॉस्फोरस डालना है आपको, वो क्या फिक्सेशन कर लेते हैं सॉइल कोलाइट्स में, देन वी कैन अप्लाई दैट फॉस्फोरस टू foliar application also, because it is getting fixed in the soil. So we can choose a method, which method we should use for for this nutrient, like that. And it is also said the availability of nutrients means if it is leaching, if unlike nitrate it is leaching so much, then we can say it is not available to plant. So based on this, we can decide, based on the mobility of the nutrients in the soil, we can decide which method of nutrients fertilizer application is to be and what are the nutrients available in the soil. So again, it is divided into three types. One is mobile nutrients, less mobile, and immobile. Mobile may mobile. Why it is mobile? Because it is not getting attached to the soil particles like nitrate, sulfate, boron, chlorine, and manganese. And less mobile. They're less mobile because it is somewhat getting absorbed on the soil particles like ammonia, so potassium, calcium, magnesium, copper. Immobile, मतलब पूरा ही वो चिपक जाता है soil particles का. It get absorbed on the complex soil complex. So it won't get dissolved in the soil solution and won't be available to the plant. That is phosphorus and zinc. These two are the immobile nutrients in the soil. And the nutrients mobility also differ in plant and soil. In plant, based on these mobility in plants, we can say which nutrient is deficient. If the nutrient is highly mobile, then we can say the deficiency symptoms can be seen in the lower leaves. Like example NPK, highly mobile NPK. So they are reaching to the top position, and then we can see the deficiency symptoms on the lower leaves. In the same way, moderately mobile, zinc, less mobile. And you must know that soil में तो वो soil particles को चिपक जा रहा है, इसलिए it is not mobile, right? But plant में क्या होता है, it has vascular tissue, and in that xylem or phloem रहते हैं, so it gets attached to the vascular tissue like xylem or phloem, and that's why the mobility of the nutrients in the plant is reduced. Less mobile and immobile. Immobile, calcium and boron. So based on this, we can say which nutrients is deficient on which part. Mm, like highly mobile NPK, moderately mobile zinc, and immobile calcium and boron. Next, based on chemical nature, they are classified into two types, that is cations and anions. Cations positive, anions and negative. Cations examples K plus, calcium plus, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, copper. Anions NO3 minus, H2 minus, PO4 minus, and sulfur. And metals and non-metals. Metals examples potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, copper. And non-metals NPS, boron, molybdenum, and chlorine. This is the question asked in JRF. Which of the following micronutrient is a non-metal? That is boron. which of the major nutrients, which are the primary, which of the major micronutrients are non-metals, that is NPS. And next, functions in the plant. Elements that provide basic structure. They are the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. They are helping in energy storage, transfer, and bonding. Like nitrogen, helping in energy storage, transfer, phosphorus, and bonding, sulfur. They are known as accessory structural elements because they are helping in for living tissues. So they are known as accessory structural elements. Potassium, calcium, magnesium. They are helping in charge balance, regulators, and carriers. Next, iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, and chlorine. They are the helpful in enzyme activation and electron transport. Next, about nitrogen. The uptake form of nitrogen is ammonia and nitrate. It is both cationic and anionic form. It was discovered by Rutherford in 1872. The main function of the nitrogen is it imparts green color to the plants, and as it is imparting green color, it is the reason is due to it is the integral part of chlorophyll, and then it is a component of protein to nucleic acid. The indicator plants for nitrogen are cauliflower and cabbage. Okay, based on the mobility, in plant it is highly mobile, whereas in soil it is, if it is present as nitrate it is mobile, if it is present as ammonia it is immobile. That's why this is the reason we use ammonical form of nitrogen in paddy, because paddy is a submerged conditions we will be growing, so we use ammonia for paddy conditions. And nitrate is mostly leach, means it get leached. Deficiency symptoms, it as it is highly mobile in plants, the deficiency symptoms are showing on lower leaves and the stunted growth and reduced yellows in cereals. Toxic symptoms, it produces abundant foliage with dark green color, and the ammonia toxicity leads to blackening around tips of older leaves. ओल्डर लीव्स के पीछे क्या होता है, वो टिप्स पे वो पूरा ब्लैक कलर का आ जाता है और उसका नेक्रोसिस मतलब डेथ ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर टिश्यू हैपेंस इन अमोनिया टॉक्सिसिटी. And soil testing mein we use alkali potassium permanganate, and based on the soil testing, if the soil has less than 280 kg per hectare nitrogen, then it is considered as lower. If it is medium, then it ranges 281 to 560. If it is high, then it is more than 560 kg per hectare. Next is phosphorus. The active form of phosphorus is H2PO4, HPO4, sorry, HPO4 2 minus. And it is discovered by Pasternak, P for Pasternak, okay, in 1903. Function is energy transport and protein metabolism, and it is also components of nucleic acid. It increases the root growth and early maturity of the crops. As it is increasing the root growth, it has to be applied in the beginning itself. स्प्लिटिंग करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि वो रूट सिस्टम पहले एस्टेब्लिश होना चाहिए, इसलिए अपन फॉस्फोरस at the beginning we will apply, and it is helpful in early maturity of the crops. What is the indicator plant for phosphorus? That is rapeseed. The mobility. In plants, it is mobile, whereas in soil, it is immobile. It gets fixed on the clay complexes. In deficiency symptoms, it shows purple orange color of older leaves. As it is mobile, it shows purple orange color on older leaves, and it has poor root system because it is establishing increasing the root growth. It is helping in increasing the root growth, and it is also showing the stunted growth as same like nitrogen. And toxicity symptoms, it shows marginal scorching of older leaves, like burning symptoms it is showing on the older leaves. And the concentration is in dry matter is about 1 kg dry matter को 1.9 gram. And the soil test, the reagents used in soil test, like we use Olsen's reagents, and it is if it is low then 12.5, if it is medium 12.5 to 25, if it is high then more than 25. Next is potassium. The active form of potassium is K plus. It was discovered by Schimper in 1890. The main function of the potassium is maintaining the regulation of potassium ions like osmotic and ionic regulation. It is also helping in disease resistant and drought resistant because it is maintaining the stomatal activity, so it will help in drought resistant. And it also cofactor of several enzymes. The indicator plant used for potato is potassium is potato, and the mobility of the potassium in plant is very mobile. In soil, it is somewhat mobile. Deficiency symptoms can be seen on odor leaves or marginal burning symptoms like dead spot. Potassium and molybdenum shows dead spot, whereas the toxicity leads to deficiency of magnesium, manganese, zinc, and iron. The concentration in the dry matter is about 1 kg dry matter has 9.8 gram of potassium. The soil testing, we use ammonium acetate reagent, and it is considered as low when the potassium content is less than 135 kg, and if it is medium then 135 to 335, if it is high more than 335.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, indicator plants means that if potato is an indicator plant for potassium, that means that कि वो जो soil है that is rich in potassium, इसका मतलब ये
हेलो, क्या बोले आप?
जैसे आपने बोला इंडिकेटर प्लांट्स के बारे में कि पोटेशियम का पोटैटो है, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि वो जो सॉइल है जहाँ पे पोटैटो ग्रो किया है वो पोटेशियम में रिच है.
हेलो, आप एक बार क्लियरली बोल सकते हो?
मैम इंडिकेटर प्लांट्स होते क्या हैं, बस ये आप बताओ.
अच्छा अच्छा, इंडिकेटर प्लांट के बारे में. हाँ, जहाँ पे ज्यादा होता है तब पोटैटो ग्रो होता है.
ओके, थैंक यू मैम.
ओके ओके. Okay, next, mechanism of nutrient transport. How nutrients is transporting? Some nutrients are dissolved in the soil solution. It has to reach to the plant. It may be reached by soil solution theory, by contact exchange theory. In soil solution theory, there are two types. It contains mass flow and diffusion. So one is the nutrients present in the soil get dissolved in the water, and then they are transported to the root surfaces by both mass flow and diffusion. नेम itself indicates that soil solution, मतलब क्या है, वो nutrients जो है वो soil solution में dissolve होना चाहिए. So mass flow में क्या होता है, वो movement of ions and salts along with moving water. Okay, you can see in this image, water is absorbed by the roots, then it is travels up through the plant, then it get lost from the leaf pores in transpiration. जैसे वाटर के साथ वो जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स है वो भी उसके साथ आ रहे. सो मूवमेंट ऑफ आयंस एंड सॉल्ट अलोंग विथ मूविंग वाटर. सो जितना पानी आ रहा है उसमें उतना ही न्यूट्रिएंट्स आ रहे उसमें. दैट इज मास फ्लो. Example, nitrogen, magnesium, sulfur, copper, manganese, and boron. They mostly transfer by mass flow. It depends upon the rate of water flow also. Next is diffusion. The movement of ions from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration is known as diffusion. Suppose आपके soil में 10 molecules of nitrogen है और roots में only 5 molecules of nitrogen. मतलब अभी concentration soil में ज़्यादा है और roots में कम है. So the root has higher concentration and the soil has higher concentration and the root has lower concentration. So molecules has to move from higher concentration to lower concentration. इसका मतलब यह है कि जो 10 molecules of nitrogen है वो कहाँ जाना है, 5 molecules of roots को जाना है. मतलब it has to reach from soil to root system. This is the diffusion, and there should be concentration gradient between root surface and surrounding soil solution. मतलब concentration gradient मतलब क्या है, वो difference है. जैसे 10 molecules और 5 molecules जब वो create होता है तब भी हो सकता है. अगर वो ही balance है 5 है तब कुछ भी, then it won't move. The nutrients won't move from soil to root system. So concentration gradient has to be established for the transfer of nutrients from soil to the root system. Then second theory is contact exchange theory. Contact exchange, name itself can say that contact होना चाहिए, उसके बाद exchange. So A close contact between the root surface and soil colloids allow a direct exchange of sodium released from plant roots with cations from soil colloids. देखिए इस we can ये clay particles को K plus positive आते हैं and on roots H plus positive. These clay particles and root get exchanged, means they are exchanging the soil, they are exchanging the particles, like root is exchanging H plus and with clay particles. K plus ions are present in clay, sorry, K plus ions are present in clay particles and H plus are present on the roots. So ये H plus roots है ना वो clay particles को आएगा और ये K plus जो है वो roots को जाएगा. So it is exchanging. This is a contact exchange theory. Likewise, the calcium and magnesium exchange between means it get passed to the roots due to by this contact exchange theory. Next, functions of nutrients in the plant. अगर किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम रहा तो बताइए, मतलब फास्ट कुछ फास्ट हो रहा है या स्लो हो रहा है.
मैम एक बार ये रिपीट कर दो, कांटेक्ट एक्सचेंज थ्योरी
कॉन्टेक्ट
थोड़ा सा आराम से प्लीज.
ओके ओके ठीक है. देखिए ये जो सॉइल पार्टिकल्स है ना उसमें आपके न्यूट्रिएंट्स है, समझ लीजिए K प्लस है या कैल्शियम प्लस है, मैग्नीशियम प्लस है, और रूट्स को जो है H प्लस है ना, उसमें से जो H प्लस है वो सॉइल पार्टिकल्स को दे देगा और जो K प्लस है ना वो रूट्स ले लेगा. मतलब उसमें क्या है, एक्सचेंज हो रहा है. जैसे सॉइल पार्टिकल्स और रूट्स हमेशा कॉन्टेक्ट में रहते हैं ना, तो उसके वजह से क्या हो रहा है, K प्लस और H प्लस आयंस एक्सचेंज हो रहे हैं. तो ये K प्लस जो K प्लस ओके कैल्शियम प्लस है ना वो सॉइल पार्टिकल्स के वो रूट्स ऑब्जर्व कर ले रहा है, जैसे ये कॉन्टेक्ट एक्सचेंज थियोरी थ्रू हो रहा है. इसलिए मोस्टली कैल्शियम एंड मैग्नीशियम आयंस गेट एक्सचेंज बाय दिस थियोरी. सो दिस इज कॉन्टेक्ट एक्सचेंज थियोरी. समझ में आया?
यस मैम, थैंक यू.
Then function of nutrients in the plant. CHO, there is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. They are the constituent of carbohydrates and several biochemical compounds. So, carbon is mostly needed for producing carbohydrates, and HO are needed for with photosynthesis process के लिए and respiration also. So they are the required for several biochemical compounds. And nitrogen, it is the constituent of proteins, enzymes, hormones, chlorophyll, and vitamins. अगर आप ये फंक्शंस अच्छे से पढ़ ले तो यू कैन एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई द डेफिशिएंसी सिम्टम इजीली. जैसे नाइट्रोजन वी कैन से दैट इट इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट ऑफ क्लोरोफिल. अगर ये क्लोरोफिल नाइट्रोजन डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से क्लोरोफिल का भी मतलब वो ग्रीन कलर, we don't have the green color, then we can say it by seeing the deficiency symptom, that is chlorosis, we can say the deficiency, there is nitrogen deficiency. Next, phosphorus, it is the constituent of sugar phosphates, nucleotides, nucleic acid, coenzymes, and phospholipids. And potassium, it's the cofactor of 40 or more enzymes and stomatal movement also. So it is potassium is helping in drought resistant. Sulfur, it is the constituent of several amino acids and fatty acids. Amino acids like methionine, cysteine, and cysteine also. Calcium, it is helping in formation of cell wall. That is helping in binding the calcium peptide. It is forming the calcium peptide and helping in binding two membranes of the cell wall. And magnesium, it is the constituent of chlorophyll. It also helpful in phosphate transferase. अगर मैग्नीशियम रहा तो फॉस्फेट भी ट्रांसफर हो रहा है, so they both are related. Then manganese, constituent of several cation activated enzymes like decarboxylases, kinases, and oxidases. And copper and zinc cation activated enzymes, indirect effect on nodule formation. Copper and zinc दो भी nodule formation में indirectly effect कर रहे हैं. And boron है वो carbohydrate transfer, pollen germination, flower formation and fruits में. And then molybdenum, assimilation of nitrates, always as well as for fixation of atmospheric nitrogen, chlorine, oxygen and evolution. Iron, it is essential component of many hemo and non-hemo iron enzymes and carriers. There is cytochrome, zinc, enzyme system, regulating various metabolic reactions. Nickel, it is regulating nitrogen metabolism, it is grain filling and seed viability. Cobalt, it is the structural component of vitamin B12, which in turn essential for the formation of leg hemoglobin. needed for nitrogen fixation required by the rhizobia. See, these cobalt, sodium, vanadium, silicon, selenium, aluminum, they are not essential, they are beneficial elements. Sodium is essential for sugar beet, and also it acts as supplement for potassium. And vanadium is useful in symbiotic nitrogen fixation, that is blue-green algae. Silicon is essential to certain diatoms, and silica cell wall. It gives resistance to rice also, and some crops like cucumber, barley. It increases the top length, number of stems, fresh and dry weight of rice. So silicon is mostly useful for rice, and selenium can be replaced with sulfur in the production of methionine, cysteine, and cystine. Why? Because it is analogous to sulfur. Means they are having same function, but origin is different. And aluminium, they are the activator of granular system, but more amount may cause toxic effect. Okay, next, hidden hunger. Deficiency, when plants start showing deficiency symptoms, when there is less amount of nutrients than they required. But in hidden hunger, plants may not show visual symptoms up to certain level of nutrient content, but growth is affected. Yield becomes less. So this condition is known as hidden hunger. The nutrient content is above the deficiency symptoms, but still considered needed for optimum crop production. सपोज आपको भूख लगी है, आपकी मम्मी से खाने के लिए पूछे, खाए थोड़ा खाना खाया, लेकिन आपको और खाना है, बट आप मम्मी से नहीं पूछ रहे, मतलब आप डिफिशियंसी सिम्टम दिखा नहीं रहे कि मम्मी मुझे भूख लग रही और दीजिए करके. सो इट मीन्स दैट सिम्टम्स नहीं दिखा रहे आप लोग, मतलब आपके अंदर हिडन हंगर है. दिस इज नोन एज हिडन हंगर. द प्लांट is showing deficiency symptom when there is less amount of nutrient, but plant need more nutrients, उसको और चाहिए, लेकिन it is not showing any visible symptoms. लेकिन वो कब दिखाएगा? In yield will get reduced and productive won't be more. So this is known as hidden hunger. And if we supply adequate nutrient, then it won't show any visible symptoms. After particular, if we are supplying so much of nutrients or there, so then it starts showing toxic symptoms. This is all about hidden hunger. किसी को कुछ doubt है तो hidden hunger के बारे में, they can ask me.
जनरली कौन सी क्रॉप्स में शो होता है ये?
क्या?
जनरली कौन सी क्रॉप ये शो करती है?
ये सभी क्रॉप में होता है, एक जनरल कंडीशन है.
ओके.
Okay, with most nutrients or most crops, significant response can be obtained even though no recognition symptoms are appeared. Okay, deficiency symptoms. The deficiency symptoms can be distinguished on the basis of following. मतलब वो region of occurrence कहाँ पे occur कर रहा है, और dead spots है या नहीं, और क्लोरोसिस कैसे पूरा इंटर लीफ और इंटरवेनर क्लोरोसिस, इसके हिसाब से दिस डिफिशियंसी सिम्टम्स कैन बी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड. ऑन ओल्ड लीव्स पे विथ डेड स्पॉट्स एंड विदाउट डेड स्पॉट्स. विथ डेड स्पॉट्स जो है वो पोटेशियम एंड मॉलिब्डेनम, विदाउट डेड स्पॉट्स नाइट्रोजन, फॉस्फोरस एंड मैग्नीशियम. This on older leaves. So we can say that on older leaves N, P, K, magnesium and molybdenum deficiency can be seen. So you have to remember what are the symptoms on which part and whether they are producing dead spots or no. N, P, K, magnesium and molybdenum are showing symptoms on older leaves. With the dead spot में potassium and molybdenum. New leaves, some remaining green and not remaining green. Remaining green veins remaining green मतलब intervenous chlorosis जैसे iron and manganese. Veins not remaining green, sulfur and copper. And terminal buds calcium and boron. On both old and new leaves zinc. This is the deficiency chart of micronutrients. First, nitrogen. It is showing stunted growth. An extremely pale color, upright leaves with a light green or yellowish appear burnt in extreme deficiency. मतलब उसका अगर नाइट्रोजन डेफिशिएंसी है तो ग्रोथ भी कम हो जाता है, और लीव्स पे कैसे पेल हो जाते हैं, एंड लीव्स अपराइट विथ लाइट ग्रीन. थोड़ा येलोइश हो जाता है। एंड अगर एक्सट्रीम डेफिशिएंसी है तब आप थोड़ा डेफिशिएंसी होने पर डालें तो उसका नाइट्रोजन ठीक है, करेक्ट कर सकते हैं। बट इफ यू आर नॉट गिविंग पर्टिकुलर नाइट्रोजन even after showing extreme deficiency, then it causes burn symptoms. Then potassium potassium shows small spots on the tips. And same like that, molybdenum, it also shows spots, but on whole leaf except veins. It is not showing on the veins. It secretes some sticky secretion from under the leaf. Potassium and molybdenum are producing the dead spots, but molybdenum वो क्या कर रहा है, वो साइड मतलब it is leaving the whole, it is producing symptoms on the whole leaf except the veins. पोटेशियम में क्या हो रहा है, वो डेड स्पॉट जो है it is producing on the tips. And phosphorus, the plants are short and dark green. In extreme deficiency, it turns brown or black. Bronze color under the leaf, it is showing bronze color under the leaf. Phosphorus. Magnesium, paleness from the leaf edges. नो स्पॉट्स, मैग्नीशियम में भी स्पॉट्स नहीं है, नाइट्रोजन में भी स्पॉट्स नहीं, बट एजेस क्या हो रहा है, इसमें कप शेप बन रहे, जैसे कप, इट इज मैग्नीशियम हैव कप शेप्ड फोल्ड्स, लीव्स ड्राई and droop in extreme conditions. In nitrogen in extreme condition क्या हो रहा है, वो burnt, it is showing burnt appearance, and growth is also stunted. And then copper, it is showing pale pink between the veins. In molybdenum, between veins, on whole leaves it is showing spots, whereas in copper it is showing pale pink between the veins, it is wilting and dropping. In zinc, leaves pale, narrow and short veins. Short veins are short in zinc and dark spots on leaves and edges. In manganese, leaves pale in color, just like magnesium. Veins are venicular dark green. In this, veins are remaining dark and reticulate. Whereas in iron, leaves also turns pale. They don't show any spots. Major veins remain green. In sulfur, leaves light green. Leaves also turning light green. Veins also turning pale green. It's also termed in no spots are present in sulfur. And boron, discoloration of leaf bud and breaking and dropping of buds. Whereas in calcium, plant dark green color, tender leaf pale, and drying starts from the tips. Eventually, leaf burns dry. Thank you. और अगर किसी को कुछ डाउट रहा तो पूछ सकते हैं। हेलो, hello,
Hello.
okay, ask any doubt.
Everything is clear, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, you can give your feedback also. Means if you want me to speak slowly, I will.
Yeah, ma'am.
It's
थोड़ा
my
सा
first class.
slow.
I want to know feedback also.
या थोड़ा सा जैसे कि आप समझाते हो थोड़ा सा स्लो समझाया करो,
थोड़ा
और
सा
बाकी आप ठीक समझा देते हो. इट्स गुड.
ठीक है. ओके देन, और किसी को कुछ डाउट्स नहीं है ना?
नो मैम.
ओके, ठीक है. अगर मैं हिंदी में बात की तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम है या ठीक है सबको? हिंदी सबको आती है ना?
यस मैम.
Yes, ma'am.
इट्स गुड. ओके मैम, थैंक यू सो मच.
Okay, I'm ending.